So we're talking about the Republican versus liberal makeup trend that has been all over TikTok for the last week. Now listen, my initial thoughts on this trend, I knew exactly what it meant. Factually, and I don't think it's just because of the way people vote, but maybe age groups, races, communities have different ways they do different makeup. That's just what it is. So when it first came up, I thought it was kind of funny. And as a professional makeup artist, there are certain ways people do their makeup that I can tell how they are as a person. I know that sounds really weird, but as somebody who has worked on thousands of faces, the way someone does their eyebrows, the way someone does their eyeliner, the way someone does a mascara, definitely kind of link with personality traits, right? I know that sounds so strange, but it's true. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to offend some people. I've seen a lot of people talk about it on TikTok and it all kind of just adds up, right? And I do think both sides, both parties, as I said, people in general, both have distinct makeup styles. You know, subcultures, age groups, like I said, there is certain styles to certain people. Even English people in general have a certain makeup style. So a video that was posted a few months back by a comedian of the name Suzanne Lambert has gone absolutely viral this last week, maybe a few weeks ago now, and it's causing outrage.
Hey, I noticed that all of the Republican girlies in my comments do their makeup the exact same gorgeous way, so I thought that I would try to do it myself. Starting with the base, I'm not going to do any prep at all. We really want our makeup to cling to any dry spots and accentuate any texture that we might have. Starting with foundation. Now, I have cool undertones in my skin, meaning reddish pinkish undertones, so we want to choose a makeup that doesn't match the undertones of our skin, so I'm going in with my warmest foundation. Rather than using a brush, we're actually just going to apply directly to the skin and use our hands. That way it's streaky, it doesn't blend well. I also applied extra tanner to my hands so that it doesn't actually match anything. You'll notice that it's also really matte. I wanted a really matte finish. It's giving drained, it's giving dusty. We want to make sure that it doesn't look like we've ever used moisturizer once in our life. This is looking pretty good. I'm gonna leave it unblended here and here just to make it look more authentic. Next, we want to pick a concealer that's about 3 or 4 shades lighter than whatever we just used for our base. So I'm going in with my lightest concealer. Make sure you really get it under the crease so that it settles into the fine lines. That's important. We don't want to pat our makeup. We want to rub our makeup so that instead of actually blending it out and making it look smooth, we're just kind of smearing it to other parts of our skin. Perfect. Next, we're going in for the brows. Now for brows, we want bold glamour filter, but in real life and not totally matching. Pulling out the Old Faithful Anastasia Brow Wiz. So we want really sharp kind of angles, but we don't want it to be too straight, almost like we applied in the dark. These are actually looking a little too thick and shaped. Make them a little thinner and straighter. This one doesn't match that one. I think we're good to go. Now for the rest of my face makeup, I'm not gonna do any contour or bronzer. We really don't want to create any shadow, depth, dimension in the face. We are going for matte and flat. That is the name of the game here. But I am going to go in with some blush. As I mentioned, I have cool tones, so I'm gonna go in with my warmest tone blush, this kind of orangey coral pink right here. I am applying low on the face. Again, we don't want to create an uplifted Bella Hadid effect. We really want to cast the eye downward so it kind of looks like everything is drooping. Now my favorite part, the eyes. What we really want to do with the eyeshadow here is use the whitest, brightest shade of eyeshadow possible so that it actually makes the distance between the eye and the brow bone look smaller. Going in with this pure white right here, and we're just gonna over the whole lid. Then over top of that, we're gonna do an old-fashioned smoky eye. Now I have hooded eyes, so again, this will make my eyes look much smaller than they already are. Look at the difference already between that eye and that eye. To finish the eyes, we are of course going in with a heavy black liner. We wanna make sure we are fully lining both the top and the bottom. It doesn't matter if it's straight, just as long as it's thick, you know? And loosely follow the lash line, but don't forget that when you are doing the bottom, you don't wanna miss the waterline. Haven't done this in years. Thank you for the inspo, girlies. I feel so beautiful. Looking so good. I really wanted to give myself that is she awake effect, so I made sure to draw the eyeliner in a downward motion. Now I've got my driest mascara that I'm just gonna kind of make sure you get a little on the eyelids too, and don't clean it up, just for the full effect. All we have left is the lips. Now, again, we are going for matte and flat. We don't want glossy, we don't want luscious. So I'm just gonna go in with a skin toned lipstick and no lip liner. I didn't do too much on the top lip because when we smile, we wanna make sure we're actually tucking the top lip under like this. Now for the final touch. Let me know how I did.
That face is crazy. Okay, listen, before we get into this, right? I know to get a group of people and say they all do the same thing is incorrect. Just like my outrage at people saying all Europeans are dehydrated, right? Or you can't get water anywhere in Europe. We know it's factually incorrect that all people do this. In fact, I actually saw a video of someone who was a Democrat who did, what's it? Republican makeup, and her journey on how she's changing it. But there is definitely a kind of style about it. One thing I would have changed about that is the eyebrows. I would have also rounded them off on the inside there, or just on a really unnatural shape. So this is very obviously a super distinct style, right? And one of the main points being made online is that this style doesn't exist. It absolutely does. But if we start looking at some popular MAGA women, you do start to notice some similarities. Let's have a little look. This style 100% absolutely exists. 1,000,000%. So we can see here, Natalie Harp, her name is, you have this unblended solid line under the eye, lashes that dip down past the bottom lash line, which gives a droopy effect to the eyes because you're pulling it down essentially. You can see the brow on the top here. There's a line that they've drawn on that just goes straight across rather than considering the shape of her brows and the direction her brows actually grow in. This like just nothing really on the lips. One thing I've also noticed as well is this orangey blush, as was said, that's down here. Again, what do we notice? These brows are just like solid line drawn in. That black liner under the eye, the white around the face, that the same color blush. I don't know who this is, but it's someone, again, the brows that look like they've been drawn on, the black under the eye that hasn't been blended. Not much blush on this one, and nothing on the lips. What? Blush, which is way too far down, especially for this individual's face. The brows are kind of non-existent, and that liner, I don't really know what to make of that picture. And again, this kind of old-fashioned, like, okay, so here, the brow shape hasn't even been taken into consideration. It's this whole thing of just following, of not really following very well. This unnatural triangle, this unnatural corner here. The fact they haven't filled in this arch to make it a little bit more like a brow, and then the unblended bottom. I don't know who any of these people are, by the way. But you can see there's definitely a style about it, right? So let's be real. Every single one of these women is wearing exactly the same look. It has a warm foundation, the questionable smoky eye, thick black eyebrows, and the pink lip. Now listen, I don't think this comes from the values people have. I don't know why people choose to do their makeup this way. I don't know what it is. I think it might be an age thing. I mean, they are all obviously a similar age, and coming from the makeup days of the 90s, some of these techniques, foundation with your hands, the black liner, and maybe not having enough brow to have to take care of, and now suddenly having to grow back brows, Jesus, maybe causing some confusion. You know what I mean? To me, it is their makeup style hasn't changed since they were a certain age, right? And this is a very good point, that this makeup is almost entirely directed towards men's taste, right? And before you think that sounds crazy, if we look at it, it's almost like a man has, written in the directions for the movie, for the makeup artist. The man is like, do generic hot woman makeup. The signature brown smoky eye because, men don't like color, apparently. We've seen their distaste towards birthday makeup online, which is when women get their makeup done beautifully with loads of color, and men are like, what the fuck is this, The eyebrows, again, like we said, were probably previously plucked all out trying to look like yet another man's ideal, Pamela Anderson back in the day in the 90s. Another tell is also the streaks of blonde hair, right? This is a very old-fashioned style, and the pink lip gloss, very feminine, and probably think it's natural. You know what I mean? You know what men are like? They look at like a pink lipstick and like, oh yeah, that could be natural. It's like, no, you don't know what makeup looks like. And a lot of these women aren't wearing the correct foundation for their undertone. I blame that on makeup artists who just give them anything. And like we mentioned, it's an older style makeup. Maybe that leans into, you know, someone's unwillingness to learn, unwilling to try new things. Very set in their ways, you know, doesn't like change, doesn't like going out their comfort zone. Maybe that's why it has a certain style. Obviously, remembering that creativity and individuality have no rules, makeup has a theory. So just because you wear a smoky eye or a pink lipstick, or, you know, have a certain type of eyebrow, just because you like it, does not mean that you're Republican or whoever, or anything like that. It's just when you put all these things together, right, in such a particular way, consider the fact that part of the belief system that these women have centers around being this idea of being a trad wife and the perfect woman, at least in men's eyes, what they consider a perfect woman. And that definitely plays a role into how these makeup looks tend to become a trend, or the whole trends become a thing. So anyway, Suzanne's video went absolutely viral. I love her content, by the way. I think she's hilarious. With thousands of people like recreating it and making their own Republican Sona. Okay, she's obviously, you know, okay, so let's just straight up here. You wouldn't look at this person and think Republican, right? But then would you look at the finished result and think Republican? We'll have a look. Again, not all Republicans look the same. We're all guilty as humans of, you know, stereotyping by the way someone looks. Sometimes. So we have the foundation that's the wrong shade, the white under eyes, the matte face, the bronzer that's too far down, the very solid eyebrows. Yeah, it's all very dry on dry on dry. 90s, matte. It was all about being matte, right? The flesh tone lips, which, hey, don't knock it. Come on, everyone. This will be interesting. This will be very interesting. This will be a good makeover. I might just skip it a little bit. I just want to do it before and then after. Wait. Change your clothes. That's it. The placement. Oh my god, the eyebrows. That's what I meant with the eyebrows. 1 second. Like that, almost like they're uneven, but they're shaped funny on the inside. Either it's round or it's square. That's so perfect. And listen, it isn't like this is wild. We know people that look like this, right? It's a thing that it's a makeup style that exists. They might not be Republican. This is perfect. This is perfect. And this, yes, okay, so this is another thing. This like clumped up mascara and this like random line that has no end and no beginning. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't begin here, it doesn't end here. It's the blush color, the wrong shade of foundation. Oh, this is actually perfect. That's actually perfection. Just to know, I obviously couldn't play it, but all those videos had country music on, I would have got copyright striked. So you probably would have guessed that this group of people, who they're saying, you know, the Republicans, would absolutely try to recreate this trend, but aim it all at liberals. But it's shit. It's actually quite hard to find Republicans trying to clap back at liberal makeup. That's because none of them can do eyeliner. Some of them just resorted to using goth or clown filters, or probably realized they look better during the transformation and turn the camera off.
I do the Republican woman's makeup trend in
So that's a filter, obviously.
reverse. First, I'll get rid of all the makeup. The next thing I have to do is spray rubbing alcohol all over my face to dry it out.
Wait, that's not the reverse, because that's what they're saying about the Republican people is that their skin's dry.
Oh, it stings a little. I'm wearing pink. That has to go. Make sure to take your bra off.
Why would
The
Republicans not
beautiful
like
blonde
pink?
hair in a cute messy bun? Gone. It's really important that the bangs are cut very short and the hair is uneven. Don't forget the really high matching eyebrows. Normally there'd be no lipstick, but we found out last week if we all wear red lipstick, Donald Trump will resign. You can see my voice is already starting to change and my facial features are getting lower and lower.
Your facial features are
It's
getting
really
lower.
important to have very large framed glasses. I can't tell you where to get them, but we all have them. The more piercings you have, the more you are dedicated to the cause. Add your safety pin and your blue bracelet so people will know that you are safe to speak to. The final step is to add the tears because of all the human rights that are being taken away right now by the orange rapist Cheeto chicken nugget.
Good point at the end. I think she was trying to be funny, but that wasn't funny. I think she was trying to do something. And it didn't really work because what she just did was the Republican makeup again with her eyebrows, but she just put on a blue wig and then hang stuff off her face. That didn't quite work. Let's see if this works. That eye makeup looks really good. Is that a filter? That looks good. This is Republican makeup. This is exactly the point. That liner under the eye, right? That's Republican makeup. Obviously, the filter has no eyebrows. And we have a thin top lip. That's literally Republican makeup. What's the point they're trying to prove here? Now, this actually looks good on him. That actually looks good on him. That's a nice... So... Wait, I don't understand. So, liberal makeup is colour? Is using actual colour? I tried Democrat makeup. How did I do? It's a filter. No, you actually have to do the makeup. That's what makes it funny. This is like not funny. You have to do the makeup and take the piss out of people. That's the joke. Since liberals say they're doing conservative women makeup, I just did my liberal women makeup. How do you like it? No, you don't understand. That's not funny. The joke is actually doing the transformation, because this just makes you look like you have no sense of humor. Listen, we can all poke fun at ourselves, right? So do it. Do better than this lady, because her mouth was annoying. And then she was like taking the piss out, people being upset that people's human rights are being taken away. That's quite the upsetting issue. You know what I mean? As a whole trend, I think it's funny. I'm sorry. I think it's funny. You know what? Do it either way. Poke fun at each other. Laugh at each other. Why not? As I'm editing this, I just have to add in here, the reason why it's funny when people are doing the Republican makeup is because it is so accurate. It's kind of like, oh my God, I know someone like that, or I've seen someone like that. It's funny. So if, wait, what's the other? If a Republican did a Democrat one, but actually did it so accurate, you know, stereotypical, then it would be funny. But being like, I'm a clown, it's like, that's not funny. Where's the sense of humor in that? The funny part is the accuracy of like, oh, we've seen that person. You know what I mean? And recreating it. So listen, if they want to try again, if that lady wants to try again, maybe dye her hair blue or green, cut her fringe in a certain way, then it might be a little bit funnier, because it's like, okay, maybe you're accurate, but it's just not funny. But this style of makeup, which has now been known as Republican makeup, even people who aren't Republicans who do this makeup are saying, oh shit, I need to get rid of my Republican makeup. It's not even just about the belief system, it's the fact that this makeup style is outdated and uncomplimentary to anyone's face. Again, there are many sources of makeup online, how you can learn how to do makeup differently, you can learn how to do something a little bit differently. At the same time, if you like what you're doing with your makeup, great, good for you, stick to it. There are better ways though. But I always say it's like being a chef, right? Like you can cook a steak, But if a chef does it, you know, it's going to be that little bit better. There are better ways to do things when you take advice from professionals. So if you are, you know, if you have a style and you're like, oh crap, maybe it is a bit outdated, just have a little look online or hire a makeup artist. Not the one who does these people's makeup. And of course, not all Republicans are MAGA people. We know this. It's fine. Calm. It's funny. Listen, poke fun at each other. Why not? Inject some humor into the terrible world that is politics. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.